We ended our last lecture by looking at the Bretton Woods Agreement. We talked quickly about the World Bank, but the other institutions' agreements that were arranged under the Bretton Woods system were the GATT, GATT, which stands for the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. The GATT, which started out, as its name implies, as an agreement. It was a treaty under which all of the signatories pledged to work towards removing trade barriers. Coming out of that treaty was also the idea of a series of trade negotiations that went on to remove trade barriers, and these trade negotiations have gone on ever since. In 1995, it was decided that there needed to be some organization around the GATT that dealt with these series of all these trade negotiations and things like that. So in 1995, the World Trade Organization, the WTO, was established and continues today. The last organization set up under the Bretton Woods system is the International Monetary Fund. The initial goal of the International Monetary Fund was to help nations establish and maintain stable exchange rates. Remember, from 1914 to 1944, we technically were on the fixed exchange rate, but we hadn't maintained it. The world hadn't maintained their rates. And so we had 30 years in which there were no clear indications of the values of currency. So under Bretton Woods, the world determined that we needed a new exchange rate system, knowing that going back to the fixed exchange rate was not viable. Most countries didn't have enough gold reserves. All sorts of things were going on. And so they came up with what we know as the pegged exchange rate system. Under the pegged system, the value of the dollar was set to $35. 1 ounce of gold equaled $35. And what made this different from the fixed rate was that under the pegged rate, the value of the dollar could go up 1% or down 1% before the government had to intervene in the market. So the par value, the set value, was $35, but it could go up. It could range between $34.65 or $35.35. And as long as the value of the dollar stayed in that range, the government did not have to do anything. The other thing that made the pegged exchange rate different from the fixed exchange rate system was that while the dollar was linked to gold, the rest of the world's currency was linked to the dollar. And so this forced or required the U.S. government to do everything in its power to maintain as stable a dollar value as possible. Because if we stabilized the dollar, then the rest of the world's currencies were probably stable, all right, since they were linked to the dollar. So this really gave the U.S. a lot of power as far as the world economy was concerned. From the U.S. perspective, there were some positive things about the pegged exchange rate. The value of the currency was relatively stable, all right, although it was allowed to fluctuate in that 1% up or 1% down range. But that allowed businesses and tourists who would have to exchange dollars for other currencies. That made the U.S. exchange rate fairly stable. So you had a really good idea, or close to an idea, of what the dollar value was going to be. Also, under this pegged rate, as we said, the government is not required to intervene in the market. So, okay, let it, not intervene as long as the dollar stayed in that range, right? It gave the government a little more wiggle room, so to speak, before they had to intervene. But there were some negatives to the pegged exchange rate. And those were that it now, over time, introduces a bit of insecurity. If you are a business person and you needed yen 6 months from now to pay for a shipment that's coming in, you don't know exactly what the value is going to be. So it's going to be close, but you don't know the exact value. So now there's a little bit of insecurity here. You may need to do some type of hedging. And the last negative, really, of the pegged exchange rate was that the government, if the value tried to get out of that range, did have to intervene. So it still needed to protect its gold reserves. It still needs to have some mechanism by which to intervene in the money markets. So if the pegged exchange rate system was so good, why aren't we still on it? Well, there were some problems. In the 1950s and 60s, the U.S. began running a huge balance of trade deficit. And there were calls to devalue the currency in an attempt to deal with this balance of trade deficit. In 1969, President Nixon was afraid that we were losing gold reserves, and so he stopped U.S. citizens from owning gold. All right, we could not sell. U.S. citizens couldn't own gold, and Nixon prevented the Fed from selling gold in order to manipulate the value of the dollar. So he really just kind of clamped down on our gold reserves. More and more calls were made to get the U.S. to pay off the debt it owed, to get rid of its trade deficit. And finally, in August of 1971, the U.S. was going through a very bad period of inflation. This was the time when the oil price shocks were just starting. So Nixon gets on TV and announces that the U.S. is changing its exchange rate to 1 ounce of gold equaling $38. So this really was an attempt to get the balance of trade and all of that done. It was a move in the right direction, so to speak, but not helpful, not completely helpful. There was a conference held, an international conference of trade ministers, finance ministers, all of those, in Washington in 1971. And this conference, known as the Smithsonian Agreement, accepted this devaluation of the dollar, but it also expanded the range in which the value of the dollar could fluctuate to 2.5% up and 2.5% down, so a 5% range. The rest of the world stayed on there linked to the dollar, but this was becoming more and more difficult. From 1971 to 1973, we saw a tripling of our national debt and our trade deficit. The U.S. once again devalues the currency. But by March of 1973, none of these attempts to fix the U.S. economy and our trade deficit and all of that, nothing was really working. And finally, Nixon gets on television again and announces that the U.S. was unilaterally removing itself from the pegged exchange rate system. We just couldn't maintain the rate anymore. There was too much speculation. There was too much fluctuation. And we were going to try something different. The different was that we were going to what is called the floating or flexible exchange rate, which is the exchange rate system we have now. The value of the dollar is determined by supply and demand for the dollar. And the great thing about this is the government had no obligation to step in. We could practice a clean float in which the government does not intervene at all, or as most nations do, have what we call a dirty float. A dirty float is an instance in which the government, while on a floating exchange rate, can still choose to intervene. And it would intervene if the value of the dollar was too high or too low. Remember, we talked about a strong dollar and a weak dollar before, right? So while the U.S. did this unilaterally, eventually an international agreement was arranged whereby the rest of the world broke their link of their currency to the dollar and moved to a floating exchange rate. We also agreed to get rid of the backing of the dollar as gold. So today there is currently no backing for the dollar except our willingness to accept it and our faith in the government, which is kind of a scary thought, right? There are lots of advantages of the floating exchange rate, not the least of which is that the government can choose not to intervene, and it can now use monetary policy to fix the domestic economy, things that weren't allowed under either the pegged rate or the fixed exchange rate. So there, are a couple of different advantages to the floating rate, but there were also disadvantages. I guess the biggest disadvantage is that we never know what the exchange rate's going to be. It changes daily. So this does require us now to hedge exchange rates. We know they're going to change. Businesses now need to protect themselves against exchange rate changes. So we're going to have to look at that shortly. So no system is perfect.